our yoga flow today. We're going to sit with that spine trying to draw up towards the ceiling. Head and shoulders, neck, everything just taking its time to settle into place. Depending on how much movement you've had over the last few days, you might be feeling a little stiff, a little tight. Today's opening reading is entitled, Sit Still Every Day. Our lives are in motion, both mental and physical. Right now is the best moment to sit still and be. Sit still whenever you can today, even if it's just for a few moments. So I think that's a great way to start this morning, just finding a nice tall spine, closing the eyes, seeing where you can be in this space, and just sit still. Find a nice, steady, flowing pattern of breath, deepening your inhale and your exhale. And then we'll start to gently invite in a little bit of movement. Maybe on your next inhale, you lift your chin up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, perhaps that chin falls down towards the chest. Inhale, breath, head comes up, chin lifts up. Exhale, breath, let that chin easy float back down towards the chest. Chin sweeping off right and left. And if you find a little sticky spot, a spot that needs a little bit more attention, feel free to stay there for a moment, all the while keeping those shoulders drop down from your ears. And then we'll bring the head back up over your spine. Reach the fingers out to the sides. Let your fingertips maybe touch the earth on either sides of you. And then let your right ear move towards your right shoulder. Maybe your right hand even comes up, gives just a little gentle pressure on the top of the head to open up that side area of the neck. Inhale, bring your head back up over spine. Let your head go the other way. Perhaps you invite that same motion, opposite arm though, up to rest on the top of the head. Perfect. All right, let's add a little movement. Hands come down towards earth. Big inhale, shoulders lift. Exhale down. Inhale, hands go up. Exhale, let them come to your heart center. 2 more just like that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, heart. Hands laced together. Press those palms straight forward and just begin to kind of tip a little bit right and left. Really opening up those side body muscles. We'll take the hands above the head on the next natural inhale and let it shift right and left again. Now your elbows can soften here, especially if your shoulders feel a little achy today. All right, perfect. Once those hands are back to center, go ahead and break them apart. Let the palms reach up, open and close your hands here. You've got lots of length through those fingers. Then turn so that the palms are kind of sweeping down those side walls. Bring the hands down with a big shoulder roll. All right, let's find tabletop, friends. So knees are going to go right underneath your hips. Your wrists are going to go under your shoulders. If you're like me and you have a set of blocks somewhere in your space, now would be a great time to reach for those and just keep them handy on our mats here. Couple cat-cows to make sure our spine is ready to move today. Belly drops down on your inhale breath, back rounds and lifts on your exhale breath. Of course, if you have sensitive knees, this is the perfect time to reach for a blanket or a towel to put underneath those knees. We're going to be on our knees for a few moments here. So if you feel at all uncomfortable, feel free to reach for something. One more round at your own pace. Next time you get to that angry cat spine, let's turn it into your first child's pose. Maybe you walk your hands forward. You might reach for a block. Let your fingertips drape over the top of the block, or just let them settle onto the earth. Let that spine get really long, friends. So a long, extended spine. Perfect. Inhale, breath brings us back up to table. Right foot extends long. Left hand reaches out, and you are in a balancing table. Hold for a breath. Exhale, elbow and knee towards one another. Inhale it long. Exhale it out. One more. Hand and toe both reach long. Let the hand come down to earth. Take this back knee and bend. Flex so that the heel is pushed up towards the ceiling, and give it just a little pulsing. I'm going to check something real quick on the computer. I think somebody got kicked out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to let them back in here. There we go. All right, perfect. So you're still in that nice pulsing motion there if you haven't come out of that yet. Let that leg go nice and long. Toes go down. Push through that back heel. Extend. Get a nice calf opener. So this is our right leg that just got all that work. Perfect. Bring it back to that table shape. Cat-cow, just one in between. So belly drop. Back round. Hips sit back towards heels. Child's pose. Back up to table and immediately start thinking left foot, right hand. Get this stretch nice and long, pointing through fingertips and toes. Exhale, elbow and knee. And then take it out. Now we did about 4 or 5 of these, depending on your pace of breath. All right, hand comes down to earth. Back knee bends. Flex that foot and give it a little bit of pulsing, just as you did before. Those of you who are familiar with this shape know that we're not focusing on our low back. We're talking about the space where the glute and the hamstring meet. Giving that space a little attention. Foot stretches long. Toes come down. Push through the heel. Give it a nice calf stretch. Sorry to exhale right in your ears, but just remember to breathe. Knees drop down to ground. Cat-cow. Belly moves towards the earth. Rounded back, rounded spine. Hips sit back on heels. There's that child's pose again. Get the most out of it. Beautiful. Let's bring it back up to the table. How about our first down dog of today's practice? So your hands are a little bit further forward than a traditional, what am I trying to say? Table. Lift those hips up nice and high. You turn yourself into an upside down V. All right, friends, small steps to the feet, start walking forward. Let's find your first forward fold. So your head is draping or falling down towards the floor. Maybe you've got a set of blocks. Maybe you've got a soft bend in the knees. Let's see what's going on with the backs of your legs. But then I want you to play with your toes. I don't know if you can see on the screen, but I'm lifting my heels, putting the weight into my toes, and then taking my time to put those toes back down to earth. So just see if you can play with that forward fold for a moment. Play with the calf muscles in your legs. Your hands can be on blocks or on the floor, or maybe they're just kind of hanging out in nature, in space, in the room. All right, next natural inhale, come up halfway. Plant those heels on the ground. Halfway lifting, long spine. Exhale, float and fold back down. Inhale, reach the hands up. Mine are going to disappear off your screen, but reach to the ceiling. Exhale out, make a cactus. Inhale, bring the elbows in front of the face. Exhale, sit. Bend those knees, sweep the arms back, chair pose. Inhale, stand back up to 90-degree angles. Exhale, sit back down into that chair. So a little bit of flowing movement here. Inhale, the legs will go straight. Exhale, we'll sit back down. Now, if you want more challenge, don't stand back up. Just bend the arms. If you need that little bit of space to kind of cut the burn in half, stand back up. Last one, next time your hands are back by your hips, stay in that chair. Think about going down the mountain. This is kind of my skier pose oftentimes in kids yoga. Take a big exhale, let the hands sweep down towards the earth. Right foot steps back to the back of your mat. Drop that right knee down and sweep your hands up. Put yourself in a nice low lunge. Now you can sink as deep as you'd like into this front knee, or you can come off. It's going to be up to you. Take those arms in that same 90 degrees. Exhale, send them back by your hips to maybe sink in. Then bring them back up and take them back. Now, of course, if that bothers your kneecap to be kind of sweeping back and forth on it, just pick a pose and stay there and just let your arms move a little bit. Think about trying to pinch something between your shoulder blades so that you do get a little bit of upper back strengthening here. Last one. Next time the arms come back through that 90, just let them go all the way up tall. Cartwheel them forward towards this front foot. And then we're going to step your front foot back. Put yourself either in plank on your knees or a full push-up plank, your choice. See if you can hold this for about 3 breaths. Your wrists are underneath your shoulders. Your gaze is about 6 inches or so out in front. Your core feels tight. Heels are pushing back. You've got a good shake in those abdominals. Exhale breath, just lift the hips up, downward dog. Good. Inhale back to plank. Exhale, take a tear down dog. Now you can be rotating back and forth here between plank on your knees and child's pose, or you can still play up a little higher in plank and down dog. Last round. Are you feeling strong yet? All right, next time you get to that down dog, small steps with your feet, take your time, let them move towards your hands, find a forward fold, half lift it only when you feel ready. We're going to work to standing, but take your time. If you're a little slower than me right now, it's no problem. Just come and find mountain pose with me. Bring the hands to the heart, close the eyes. Got a couple more settling breaths. Take a moment, see if you can stay still. Find the stillness. Hands come out in front, 90 degrees, just as you did before. Exhale, sit in that chair. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, back to the chair. Remembering you can take out the straightening of the legs and just stay in that chair pose. The tighter your knees are together, more challenge you're going to feel through the legs. Further you spread those feet apart, a little break you might get. All right, next time you're ready, fold it on down. Left foot steps back. Left knee hits the ground. Hands reach up. Look up. Find your version of this pose again. Hands and elbows. Send it back. Really focusing on that upper back. Getting a little pinch there as we send those hands back. So yes, this is a little bit more fluid today. A little more fluid, flowing movement in our arms. But we're being very static, perhaps with our low half. All right, next time those hands come through, let them go all the way up. Cartwheel them down and start looking for that plank again. Front foot steps back. Wrists under shoulders. Hold the plank. Find the stillness in this strengthening pose. Yeah, see how still you can stay. 2 more breaths. One more strong breath. Pull between the upper shoulders, upper back. All right, down dog. Beautiful, friends. Take it back to plank. Drop your knees to the ground. Easy vinyasa. Lowering towards the earth. Cobra or up dog, your choice. Ease it down. Hands move back, push to knees. Child's pose or downward dog, your choice. We're going to take 3 breaths. So wherever you are, find it for the next 2 more breaths. All right, beautiful. If you are in child, let's move to down dog. If you're in down dog, take another breath there as we join you. Hands will start to walk back towards your feet, so walking opposite direction this time to the back of our mat. Find that same half lift we found before, long spine, crown of the head is pointing forward. Exhale, fold. Reach the hands up, look up. Hands come down and find your heart. All right, now depending on how you are in your space, where your camera or your computer is at, I just want you to step wide on your mat. So choose which foot does the stepping so that you can see the best. I'm hopeful. Now it looks like my feet are on the screen. And this big wide stance here, you have options to take a slight inward turn of those toes, pushing out through the heels. If that gives you more stability, great. If you don't need that, that's okay too. Arms reach out nice and wide. So you can make somewhat of a 5-pointed star, or even a little bit of a snowflake. All right, our right toes are going to turn off to face the edge of the mat. Left foot stays parallel with the back edge of your mat, or the front edge. Gaze out over that right hand, flip right hand, and let's do a little warrior dance. Just lean away from that front knee, or that bent knee rather, and then up and over for your side angle. Up and away, and then all the way through. All right, next time we get through this dance, we're going to hold your side angle a little bit longer. So point those fingers up and towards that edge of the mat. Maybe this opposite hand reaches for a block or the floor, or perhaps the elbow just stays soft on that knee. Turn your gaze upward a little more. See if you can look towards the ceiling without falling. Beautiful. Bring yourself back up. Warrior 2. Front knee straightens. Take a triangle. Reach over. Now these back toes need to kind of tip a little bit as you're reaching. Feel free to turn that hip. This hand might reach all the way for the floor, might be kind of hanging out somewhere on the calf or the thigh, might even be reaching for a block. If you notice the hand I got to the ceiling, the palm is facing straight out. One more breath. Take the hand that's in the sky, let it circle, pull you back up. Perfect. Turn both feet to face the side, big forward fold right down through the middle. Might need to change your stance a little bit if your feet are kind of wonky here. So fold down here through the middle. One more big breath. All right, inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. All right, come the rest of the way up. Hands reach up and then go back. Find that same 5-pointed star. Turn the left toes this time. Knee bend. Warrior 2. Pay attention to your stance. See where that front heel is. Maybe it's in line with your big toe. You're in step and you dance. Side body. So we did this about 3 times last time. Decide what flowing movement feels good to you. Maybe you're going a little slower, or maybe even a little faster than me. Maybe we're just opposite in our rhythm. That's okay too. The next time you get to your side angle, hold it. Maybe turn your gaze or your dristy up towards the sky, ceiling. Trying to keep that balance. One more breath. Perfect. Start to come up from that shape. Start thinking immediately about triangle. So I'm going to turn this back hip just a tad. We'll lean over that front knee. So I'm really pulling in this hip crease as I stretch my top half over it. Tip in. Good. Find that triangle shape. So from what I can see on my screen, the only thing I really would like to help with is this. You have your chest where your light would be shining straight down towards the side. You're trying to lift this arm up and it's causing all kinds of kink in your shoulders. Come up a little higher and focus on trying to turn your chest to the side. Maybe not going as deep. All right, beautiful. Use this hand that's in the sky to take a full circle. Let it help you back up. Turn your feet off to the side. You got your last big wide fold. Decide where your hands want to go. Maybe they reach for the center. Maybe they reach for your feet. Maybe they reach back between the legs. Some might like to lace them behind the back. Just decide what feels good to you here for just a few more moments. Flipping the world upside down, finding a little stillness. All right, my friends, take your time. Use a half lift to pull yourself up halfway and pause. I'm going to put my hands on about my shins. Let the crown of my head pull out into the room. Take another breath in that shape. Feel your hamstrings really kicking in to hold you still. Use your next inhale breath to pull you the rest of the way up. Start to take a slight inward turn of your heels. And then just bend those knees down. I want you to just lift and lower here just for a moment. Now, you can decide what you want to do with your hands. Some like to let them droop when they bend and lift when they straighten. Some want to just hold here at the cactus arm and let their knees straighten and bend. Take one more, and then we're going to stay in the bend. Knees bend, and through here. And then I want you to just kind of do just a little bit of reaching. If you want to put a little punching into it, you could, but you're just kind of reaching here, adding a little bit of twist. And it can be slow, or it can be kind of quicker. This is a time where if you got any kind of beat going in the background, maybe you match it. But you're just exploring the good movement that can happen with your upper body while you're really static and still with your lower body. It's a great exercise for your brain, along with a little twisting with the core. All right, finish that off, whatever you've been crazy with those arms. Let them come back to a cactus, and then just stand up strong. Beautiful work. Turn the toes slowly so that your heels work back underneath of you. And then just bring your hands to your heart. Take a nice standing Tadasana. Connect with that breath. Maybe even lift your chin and then lower it. All right. Step one. Right foot stays steady, grounded. Left foot crisscrosses. Knee has a slight outward shape. And you're just standing steady here. Hands are out to the side, palms facing forward. Maintaining balance, step two is to bring these toes slightly up and then begin to really flex that left foot. Step three, pull the knee even higher. I cheated, use my wall. And let your hands Come forward towards your heart. So keep that nice flex. This foot is resting. I've got dark leggings on, but it's resting just above my knee. If you're lucky enough to have a piece of furniture nearby, if you need to do a little tap here and there, or you need to get off your mat and go walk and hold on to a chair or a couch, that's okay too. See what's going on with your breath. Assess. Trying to talk and think at the same time is not always the best thing for balance pose. Assess your spine is what I was going to say. We don't want a lot of pressure in your low back. One more breath. And then you're going to do the whole thing in reverse. Hands come down. Toe goes back to earth. And then step this wider. Walk out your ankles, walk out your shins, your calves. And then start building on the other side. Toe on the ground first. Hip opens out. I can tell I've been moving, but not necessarily been doing very much yoga lately. My balance is very wonky today. Flex that foot. Lift it a little higher. Hands maybe come towards your heart. Maybe this side was a little easier because you knew what direction you were going. Maybe not. Flex that foot. See if you can sink into this standing leg. You're getting a nice good hip opener. Lots of balance work, gazing at something, not moving. So ideally not your screen. Something else in the room. Maybe a book. Maybe a piece of furniture. Picture on the wall. One more breath. Start to unwind, same pattern. Medium, low, and then step that out and work out anything you might have happening. I mean, I even managed to put a little weird cramp in the middle of my foot in the middle of that. It's just been too long. My body is saying, hope you enjoyed your holiday break, but don't forget about me, right? All right, my friends. Put yourself nice and tall back up at the top of your mat. Hands in towards your heart. Find the stillness here. We're going to take a full sun sal and then end up on the earth. So inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Hands plant, feet step back. Full plank or plank on your knees. Find a breath. Exhale, begin to lower to the earth. Knees probably are going to find the ground. Up dog or cobra. If you choose up dog, make sure wrists are in line with shoulders. Take yourself to either child's pose or that big down dog shape. Hips lift nice and high. One moment, if you are in down dog, playing maybe with a 3-leg just for a moment. Switching feet out, switching sides. And then when you're ready, those knees will find the earth. Child's pose. All right, friends, when you're ready, we'll bring ourselves from that child's pose onto a seat. Maybe your knees crawl forward or slide out to the side. You might revisit placing a blanket maybe underneath the tip of your tail if that helps you sit a little taller. Decide how you're going to feel most comfortable here. And just breathe. See how your shoulders feel, how your neck feels. Maybe some gentle movement makes sense in either place. And then just invite yourself to find Something different with the legs. So I'm going to give you a little option. You can do legs long, straight out in front for the next few movements, or you can take bound angle. Bound angle looks similar to a butterfly shape. If you have a set of blocks in your space, you might even kind of prop those knees up. That might feel nice. See what's happening with your spine. You can make it a little taller. Revisiting anything that the neck might be requesting here. If you did choose forward with your legs nice and long, or this bound angle shape, if you'd like to, you can take your time to start to hinge right at those hips, keep a long, flat spine as you start to bring your nose down a little closer to your toes. Whatever forward folding position you've been in, just take your time to slowly come up from that. Bending these knees back up towards the ceiling. A little bit of movement in the ankles and the toes. If you're sitting on a blanket, you can stay there or you can bring yourself off. Hands are going to come comfortably to the sides of the body, placing them on the earth perhaps as you lift your right toes, right knee up off the earth. Drop that back down. Left toes, left knee. Thinking about lifting through the heart, you're in half boat. Now you can continue to just step 1 foot at a time here, activating those core muscles, or you can invite both feet up off the ground, maybe even extending hands out into the space as well. Engage those core muscles, lift from the heart, protect the low back at any time, adjusting so that this pose stays in the core. Perfect. Lowering those feet back to earth, hug around the knees. And then we're going to start to move onto our back. So if you have a block handy and you want to reach for that, great. If you have that strap that I hopefully remembered to mention at the beginning, you can reach for that. You can do these next hamstring stretches without a strap, of course, if you don't have one. I'm going to strap up my left foot first. You can do your right or your left, doesn't really matter. We're going to do both sides. But just get your hands in a position if you are choosing to use a strap so that your shoulders feel comfortable. If you don't have a strap or a towel or anything, your hands can always just go here on the back of the thigh or the ankle. But just see where you are today, guys. Opposite knee can be bent or straightened, depending on how that hip flexor feels. Use your breath just to get a little deeper down the back side of that leg. Trying to avoid bouncing this leg, so just pick a spot, see where it feels good, hold it for a breath or two, and then maybe go a little deeper, and then hold it for a breath or two, but try not to bounce. Of course, if this foot feels like it wants to go out a little towards the side, then certainly allow it to do so, changing the shape of that stretch. Want to keep it dead center today, that's fine too. I want a little more hamstring concentration, so I'm going to keep mine right in the middle. But if you have chosen to let that go out to the side, let's start to work it back to center. Begin to soften the knee of this leg that's been long. And you're going to pull this strap towards you so that that knee comes down at an angle towards the left edge of your mat. So it's like a half happy baby. Perfect. From there, let that leg go back up straight. And then you can either switch in the air, or you can bring that foot down, sit up a little bit, and switch. Decide what feels good on this side, remembering the opposite leg can go long, and you can look like a pair of scissors, or you can keep a nice soft bend. Decide how you can hold on to the strap so that you feel, a little tense in this arm that's holding on, but your shoulder and your neck, your upper back can all relax. You may be noticing that I kept a blanket underneath of me when I reclined backwards. It's mainly because I've been having a little bit of low back issues lately again. So when that comes back for me, I always try to make sure that the small of my back is really glued to the ground anytime I'm going to do really anything on my back. And if you give it something like a rolled blanket or even just a folded blanket like I have here, can really support your back in poses that a natural arch wants to happen. If that foot wants to go out to the side like it did before, feel free. If you don't like that and you want to stay in the center, remember that's always an option too. We're going to start to bend this knee, just as you did before. Let it come down towards the right edge of the mat, taking yourself into that half happy baby again. Perfect. Shoot the foot back up. Now you have one more optional pose. You can take both feet into the strap. Let them go as wide as you can let them go and still hold on to your strap. So that's going to depend on how long your strap is. And then bend your knees and take that same kind of happy baby, or sometimes called dead bug. You also can let go of the strap and just reach for your toes or the outer edges of your feet and take it on your own. Or you can skip that and do something else. Maybe heels to heels or crisscross ankles. Feels better to you, whatever you want. But we're definitely to the part of practice now where things are going to start moving back into place. The work is over, so if you've been holding on to a strap, just go ahead and let that soften, let the knees maybe come down, back to center. Hug them in close if that feels good, or just take your time. Lowering them back to earth. And then choose however you'd like to start to close out today. Maybe your knees need a windshield wiper once or twice, right and left, just to settle out the low back. Maybe you want to take bound angle as your final pose, as your savasana today, reclined here on the earth. Perhaps you want long extended legs, or you want to reach for a bolster, or a couple extra blankets to get more comfortable here. Whatever you're choosing to do, take the time to walk the shoulders out from underneath of you, get your head in a comfortable space, your knees, your feet, and just try to return to the stillness of the breath, to the stillness that that breath can invite in. Your savasana doesn't have to look like mine. Your savasana doesn't have to look like it did last week. Every day you move on this mat, you're bringing with it not only different things mentally, but we bring different things physically too. So take your time to honor what's happening in your body and give it that restful state it might be looking for. Taking just a few moments in whatever pose of choice you have decided on. And let yourself be still. Revisiting our opening reading as we rest today. Sit still every day. Our lives are in motion, both mental and physical. Right now is the best moment to sit still and be, or lay still. Try your best to lay still for just a few more moments, giving the body that much necessary, much needed time to really sift and settle back into place. Slowly starting to become aware of your breath. Take your time to just let back in gentle movements of the fingers, of the toes. Maybe even inviting your knees gently towards your chest, rocking side to side, or just moving to rest on either your right or left side. We'll return ourselves back up to a seated posture whenever you feel ready. Bringing the hands into the heart, closing the eyes, finding that stillness once more. I greatly appreciate you making time for yourself today. Whether your first reasoning for signing up for this class or hitting play was just for a physical reason or not, we're glad you brought your whole body, mind, body, and spirit here to the mat to move and assist alongside me and alongside all of us that are part of this community. Thank you again, and may you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Namaste.